God saved my life. It wasn't the medics or some weird thing that just happened. It was God. He saved me. He put me in His area of protection, and I was safe from everything around me. And when He put me in that little capsule of safety, He had a few angels down there. One of them had brown eyes and brown hair. The second angel, he was younger than the first angel. He had dark brown, curly, longish hair. The third angel had sandy hair. It was short, and he seemed older than the rest of the people. And he was behind me and wrapped his arms around me, kissed me and said to not worry and that I'm safe. And all the while, it was when God's hand was around me, like a little capsule of safety net, like a safety net. His hand is kind of like reaching out to you, covering you. And so when I went up, they also took me, like I was up in heaven, and then the three angels kept on taking me back down to where I thought was hell. It was really earth, but it's a place that I didn't want to be at. I was so uncomfortable there. I really was. It was dark and confusing and so chaotic. There were noises and movement that I can't describe to you. There were voices and beeps and everything. Just, you couldn't, it wasn't audible. You didn't know what it was. So I kept on wanting to go back to heaven because of how much I longed for it. I can't really describe you heaven. It's an amazing place. Heaven was very bright. It was bright, but it wasn't overpowering, like overwhelming brightness. That would just make you fall down. And from what I could see all around me, there was a pleasant blue sky, and there were a few trees here and there. They were all really nice. And it was just a warming feeling. The aura was so pleasant, and I just wanted to be there. I was captivated by it, by being in heaven. It felt like a warm summer day, just wonderful. You just wanted to bask there. But the three angels that I described before kept on taking me back down to the hellhole, to earth. I didn't really know why. I couldn't think about it. But the angels accompanied me down there several times. And for doing that so many times, I began noticing what they wore looked like white drapes or toga-ish kind of clothing. And the guy with sandy hair had blue eyes, and the guy with long curly hair had nice blue eyes, and he smiled a lot. And the older set, the one that also had brown hair, he had brown eyes though, and he was more of the adult type. Anyways, I kept on whenever I was sent back down there, I would eventually come back up to heaven. And whenever I did, the three angels were standing off to the side somewhere, and the younger curly-haired guy kept on looking back at me, was like, "Why are you here? What are you doing here?" He was very confused to see me still there. So they kept on taking me back down to earth after that. And what they did was just send me there, say, "Stay here, you have something to do here. God wants you in this world to do something, and you can't come home just yet. Do what God wants you to do." I mean, I didn't really take that in consideration. I just kind of kept on coming back up. They kept on taking me down. Win-lose situation every time. Finally, the last time that I went up to heaven, I guess they were kind of sick of me or something. The sandy-haired guy went back to find God and get him. And God came with the angel. And when that happened, he just kindly smiled at me, went to me, hugged me, and turned me away from the angels, and slowly guided me back to earth. As we went down there, I could see myself just lying there. I was flabbergasted at seeing myself, gaping at myself, just like, wow. Like, seriously. Like, mind block right there. As I looked at myself, I came back up to look at God, to like ask if this was real. As I looked back up, I was the one lying down. So then, some realization happened, and God kindly smiled again with his warm eyes, and put his two hands on me, and said, "Good servant, don't be afraid. There is still peace and justice in the world. And so be a good girl now, and stay here, and share your experience with others around the world."